Hello again, everybody. Welcome back, one and all. After a brief rest, we are back. And on our way to the side, there is a bit of a slumber party going on over there. But first, I want to kill a few of these blatter enemies as well. We saw these in the prologue, and they're back again in numbers. I also wanted to use this opportunity to show off Recuperate.
We're in a good position.
This is the aura of the Drifter class. It boosts evasion, and the battle ended before I was done with my sentence. Wonderful. Busted knife. Get rid of that. As I was saying, we have now unlocked all of the arts that the Drifter can obtain. The debuff art Infuriate, which inflicts taunt. This will draw the enemy aggro to you. You saw it listed in that debuff menu, actually. We've got Chrome Armor for physical resistance up. We've got Slit Edge, which is a simple damaging art that deals more damage from the side. Assault Hammer, which inflicts topple. Flame Grenade, which inflicts blaze and does more damage to toppled enemies. And last of all, Recuperate. You see that it's got a TP written on the bottom. That is because to activate this art, you need to expend 1000 TP from your TP gauge. This is where TP comes into play. In this case, Recuperate, it boosts your evasion and it recovers continual HP over time. It's regen. This is excellent when you pair it with Infuriate as well as Chrome Armor. If you get the enemy's attention, then activate both Chrome Armor and Recuperate, the enemy is going to be concentrating fire on you while you are in a very defensive state, where it's hard to hit you, hard to deal damage, and it allows your allies some time to recover their own HP with Soul Voices or whatever other arts they have to get themselves set up. It's a nice combo of arts, and in fact, can I reorganize my arts here? There we go. Infuriate, Recuperate, Chrome Armor, Slit Edge, Assault Hammer, Flame Grenade. Perfect. And now those bugs are dealt with, let's go address our story objective over here. What has happened?
What the hell happened here? You don't think that one Sinicula could have killed all these simius?
Unless...
Unless... what?
This is bad.
What's bad? I don't follow you.
That Sinicula. It's a Tyrant.
Huh? But it looks just like any other Sinicula.
Think about it. Your typical simius is way higher up on the food chain than your typical Sinicula, right? Usually we'd find one simius standing over 3 or 4 Sinicula corpses. But here, the tables have been turned. And I don't see a single trace of any other indigents in the area. There's only one explanation. That Sinicula is a Tyrant.
Let me check the Blade Report database. If there's a Tyrant this close to the city, someone must have run across it. Bingo. There was a Sinicula Tyrant sighted not too long ago, but it was a couple of segments further out.
It could have followed the blade that spotted it back towards New LA, or come here to feed, or who knows what.
That's crazy. I can't believe there's a Tyrant right on our doorstep and HQ isn't doing a thing about it.
Well, don't forget why they sent us here in the first place. Frontier Nav's range is still limited.
Oh, right. They couldn't track it if there's no local probe. They must have lost it when it went off the grid.
What is this that you're talking about?
The Tyrant designation is given to creatures that pose a special threat in one way or another. That doesn't always mean raw strength. Some Tyrants will actually register as low rank when we find them out in the field and engage them in combat.
But don't let that fool you. If a creature shows up as a Tyrant, you can be sure it's got at least one nasty trait or ability to speak of. The system can't account for everything, though, so don't let your guard down, no matter what rank it assigns. Even some of Blade's very best teams have come back with serious injuries after running into a Tyrant in the field. If they come back at all.
I think we can handle it.
Well, alright. I'm game if you are. Count me in, Elma. Let's do this. If we're gonna settle here on this planet, we're gonna have to get used to dealing with Tyrants now and then. We can't just keep running forever, you know? Besides, I'd never forgive myself if someone else ended up getting hurt because we just left it here.
All right. Let's do it. But don't push it, okay? Either of you. If we can take it down, great, but if not, even just luring it away would be a moral victory. As long as we buy enough time to install the probe, we can use Frontier Nav to track it, or any other Tyrant that comes this close to the city from now on. Just make sure you're ready before we attack. This will be tougher than anything else we've faced.
Quite the threat on our doorstep. I can't help but wish I saw this battle, from a safe distance, obviously. Engaging a Tyrant is no small task. It's important to equip your best before charging in. So double check all weapons and gear. Oh, and make sure your arts are ready and leveled up, okay? That's the first step to becoming a combat master. We've already got our gear sorted, so let's learn about battle points. They're necessary to upgrade arts and skills. They're obtained in many ways, such as through gaining levels or class ranks, filling the collectopedia, or collecting treasure. I think we obtained a couple of these from some of the wreckage that we found along the way of the prologue as well. We have got a few points to spare before we go into this encounter. Lynn's got 23, Elma's got 35, and I've got 41. If you give me a minute, I will designate these and then go over my thought process for doing so. Okay, after some deliberation, I think I've got my layout sorted, or at the very least, I've used up all the available battle points that I can. Let's start with Elma. 1 point has been invested into Early Bird. This means that its aura tier has been raised up by 1 stage, and its cooldown has been reduced quite significantly. 2 points have gone into Sliding Slinger. This increases the hit scaling, it reduces the cooldown, and it increases the TP we gain. In this case, at level 3, we're now getting 20 TP per hit when we attack from the side. 1 point has gone into Shadow Strike. This has upped the tier of Stagger to Stagger 2, has increased the hit scaling and lowered the cooldown. Same has been true for Side Slash. Higher hit scaling, higher cooldown, Fatigue 2 as opposed to Fatigue 1. For Lynn, I have invested 2 levels into Trash Talk. This is her new taunt art, and it's superior to Infuriate due to its ability to increase TP per morale level. If you remember what morale is, it's what you rank up by completing soul challenges. The maximum number of TP we can get from this effect is with 150 from level 3, times that by 3, that's 450 TP by using Trash Talk with full morale. It's a good benefit. It's also at level 2, thanks to the level ups, in terms of its debuff tier, which means it's going to last longer. Generally speaking, the increase to the tier means that the effect duration lasts longer. And then I've put her remaining point in Fire Carnival to increase the hit scaling from 50% to 100%. I think it's a more reliable damaging move right now than Wild Smash, which requires the enemy to be toppled, particularly since Wild Down is a TP art. And last but not least for us, 1 point has gone into Recuperate to lower its cooldown and improve the buff effect. 2 points have gone into Chrome Armor to increase the buff tier to Physical Res up 3 with an increased effect duration. And 2 further points have also gone into Assault Hammer. This has boosted its hit scaling, increased its topple effect and its duration, and reduced the cooldown. I think we're ready to go. You can aim your attacks at particular parts of your enemies. Reducing the appendage health gauge to 0 will destroy it. You can change the part you aim at with R, Y, or A. We've been doing this. Additionally, destroying appendages before defeating an enemy may yield additional rewards in the battle scrolls. What this doesn't tell you is it will also disable certain arts that the enemy has available. And we'll have plenty of chances to show this off in the fight against Volkampf, the Pursuer. As if it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different appendages, plus its body. Let's get this started. Let's go with Infuriate first.
Chrome armor!
Fire Carnival!
And also Infuriate. Recuperate, rather.
Shadow
Elma?
Strike.
Wild Smash!
Good.
No, she doesn't have
Scream
to.
Hey!
Side Splash.
Let's get the side bonus.
We're in a good position.
Sliding
Move in.
Slinger.
Another thing I'm going to show you off here, if you hold down L, you can issue certain commands. I think Lynn broke one of the legs with that. Elma's inflicted fatigue. That's nice.
I'll put some power into this one.
Fire
Slit
Carnival!
edge.
Whoa!
Sliding
They're a big
Slinger.
target.
Each of its legs can use a stomp art, and this will inflict stagger in the area around it.
Now, melee attacks. Nice.
Keep out of the way of that, though. Ooh! Beautiful timing!
Upper hand.
You briefly saw Sinicula firing the laser there.
Stream edge.
That's a nasty art, but because the appendage was broken on the head, you can see the damage. That got cancelled before it could deal any significant
Put
damage.
some power into this one.
Strength comes from the
And wits
true
down.
on any planet.
We are awesome!
We are
Nice work, Lynn. You
awesome!
fought well. You did too.
Thank you.
Now let's get down to business and install that data probe.
My blood's pumping.
If we stay here for long, there's no telling what other playmates might show up.
Or primates.
This beam of light indicates a frontier nav site. It marks the ideal spot to bury the probe.
Okay, the probe should be ready for insertion. I'll just boot it up.
Thanks, Lynn. The top half of the cylinder contains the probe itself. The bottom half is a laser. It dissolves the soil so the probe can burrow to the proper depth. We tried just planting them on the surface at first, but we kept running into problems with the local wildlife damaging the goods. Burying them is going to save us all a lot of time and headaches in the long run. We all set?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever you're ready.
Why don't you do the honors? You can launch it right from your comm device. Give it a try.
Okay. This simple, is it? Ooh, putting something in the ground. Before that Sinicula could put us in the ground.
Good. Now we just need to give it a minute to reach the target depth.
And installation complete. We are now online with a solid connection to Frontier Nav.
Excellent. See? At the end of the day, there's really not much to it. The hardest part was calculating the ideal probe locations. We need them spread out evenly to maximize data collection.
Yep, planting probes is easy. And the more we plant, the more likely we are to find missing crew. So anytime you see a probe site, there's no excuse not to plant that sucker.
That'll do it for your training. Let's head back to the barracks and report to Secretary Nagi.
Our reward from defeating Volkampf are some goggles. Resist taunt. I've seen better. Let's sell those. I'm Lau, a Pathfinder. If we're gonna go grow Frontier Nav, we need to install more data probes. To plant one, simply approach a vacant frontier nav probe site and press A. If you find a good spot, be sure to go ahead and claim it. It's common sense, really. And Elma's got a word of warning for us as well. I'll let you in on a secret. A giant beast like that is usually best engaged with a Skell. Neutralizing a foe like that on foot, especially a Tyrant, is pretty risky. So be careful about such things in the future. And you've got an underrated size diagram representing small, medium, large, and extra large indigents. Size matters for a lot in this game. Now we get to see the fruits of our labor showing up on our map. Here's where we are. And for installing this probe, we have revealed a small, meager part of the map. As you can see from here, there are a lot of probe sites on the map. We're going to be having fun getting to each of these, installing probes, and setting up our navigation. Something else as well in the top right, Primordia, we've got a survey rate of 2.84% and a survey rate overall of Mirror of 0.5. And if we zoom in on New LA, it has got its own survey rate. So between New LA and the area outside Mirror, we have got a lot of exploration to do. Now let's head back to the barracks. Something else I can show off here is that if we hold down R and B, we go into an auto-run state. My hands are off the controller for this run back. Let's go into a sprint. I'll see you guys back at the East Gate. All's well that ends well. Back in familiar concrete. Whew! You laid the training on thick for me, ladies. Secretary, you ain't living this down. But it looks like he has company.
Commander Vandam.
Well now, look what the cat dragged in.
Sorry we missed you last time. We could have come to meet you at HQ, you know.
Indeed. I suggested as much. Twice.
And we know how much I enjoy being told what to do. Anyway, I hear you tangled with a Tyrant, way out of your league, on a training mission, no less. That was reckless, and goddamn magnificent.
What a way to get welcomed back by a magnificent man with a magnificent mustache. Hello, Commander. I'm the newest recruit. Pleasure to make your acquaintance at last.
So, Commander, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit here today?
Well, I can't just ask Nagi to do everything for me. I'd be out of a job.
Hey, I delivered you the new recruit, didn't I?
Yeah, you won the bet. Don't worry about it, all right? I'll settle up with you later. You know I'm good for it.
The bet?
The bet?
I'm sure I'm needed elsewhere. If you'll all excuse me, Commander.
How convenient for you.
Well, that wasn't obvious at all.
Huh. Look at you two. I swear, you're like two children excited about a new toy.
Look who's talking. I don't recall ever seeing you file a request to personally train a rescue before.
Is that so odd?
It is before we'd even asked him to become a blade, little Miss Stick in the Rear.
Usually I ask when I don't get your slang expressions, but something tells me to just let that one go.
Enough about that. Where are your manners, anyway? I still haven't been introduced to our new recruit here.
And where are yours?
Commander Vandam is Blade's top officer.
In a past life, I was chief engineer on the White Whale. Same idea, basically. Someone has a problem, I fix it. You follow? Huh. Not much for conversation, are you?
So you still haven't told us why you're here. From the look of things, I'm guessing this isn't a social call.
You don't think?
No. So let's cut the crap and get down to business.
Ha! Sounds like you're learning my expressions just fine, Elma. Anyway, first we need Chatty Cathy here to choose a division and pull an assignment.
No rest for the wicked.
Whoa there, Itchy Trigger. I know you're just chafing at the bit to run out there and grab the world by its tail, but you need to choose a division first. Once that's all hashed out, we can get into detail about what your first assignment's gonna be.
Pretty much everyone in New LA works for Blade, in one of several different fields. Helping to explore Mira, or to maintain order in the city, or, well, you remember Nagi's speech, right? There are 8 different fields in all, and each one has its own branch within Blade. Officially, they're called divisions. Naturally, you'll want to choose one that best suits your personality and your talents.
Let's start with the Pathfinders. Pathfinder's #1 responsibility is planting data probes, like you did on your training mission. It may not be the sexiest job, but important? You bet your ass it's important. We've only been on Mira 2 months. We don't know jack about this place. The more probes we install, the faster we can get our bearings here and give ourselves a fighting chance.
We've already detailed how important it is we expand the Frontier Nav network ASAP. So, for the time being, I'll just remind you of the highlights. It helps us keep Blade safe. It helps us keep the city safe. And most important of all, it's the key to locating the missing parts of the Lifehold and recovering the rest of the human race.
Okay, next up, Interceptors. You met Akeloff and Evans, right? Irina and Gwen? This is their division.
That's a good portrait.
Interceptors have one main duty: protect New LA and everyone in it from the wildlife here on Mira. Right now, this is probably our busiest division. Interceptors ride shotgun for the research eggheads, they escort VIPs around, and they help any other idiots who get caught out there with their pants down.
Next are the Harriers. Remember Doug Barrett, the Skell pilot conducting the test flight with Lynn? He's part of the Harriers. If you think of the Interceptors as defense, Harriers would be New LA's offense. They specialize in preemptive strikes on clear and obvious threats. But only on clear and obvious threats. They're not meant to go out and just blast any indigen that moves.
And you got your Reclaimers. These guys are in charge of finding the other pieces of the White Whale. Among other things, that is. Including anything of ours left behind after a battle. Skell debris, weapons, personal effects. It can get a bit morbid, frankly, but it's gotta be done. Until we're up and running here on Mira, and have this place completely figured out. Everything we brought from Earth needs to be treated like it's irreplaceable. Also, the search for the Lifehold. That's mostly on the Reclaimers.
Next, Curators. Curators are the first to scout ahead to unexplored territory, bringing back whatever samples they can get their hands on. Fruits, bugs, sticks and stones, you name it. It's not all picking berries, though. Being a curator also means being the first to encounter unknown indigens.
Next? All right, Prospectors. Prospectors do, well, prospecting. They poke around, looking for minerals, resources, and whatnot. Things we need for everyday life here. We packed all the essentials we could on the White Whale, but that won't last forever. We need to be able to replenish our water and fuel if we want to survive. And sooner or later, we're gonna have to figure out how to replace things from scratch. From the socket on a Skell's knee joint, right down to the frying pan in Lynn's kitchen. Without these guys busting their butts, we'd have no future to speak of.
Next up, Outfitters. All of our ground gear and Skell weaponry is developed in conjunction with private arms manufacturers, or AMs. Outfitters are Blade's way of supporting these AMs. They'll seek out anything that might inspire new weapon ideas, and even assist with testing new prototypes.
Finally, the mediators. These are the folks who keep everything hunky-dory with John and Joan Q public. Any problems a civvy has, they come to mediators. Fight with your neighbor? Mediators. Lost cat? Mediators. It's not a division for everyone. You need to be a jack of all trades, and a people person. Someone with my charming personality? Probably not the best mediator. But if you got what it takes, it's a clutch role, keeping things cool on the home front.
All right, so I think that's all 8 divisions. Any idea which one you'd like to join? Don't fret about it too much. Whichever you choose, you still have a lot of freedom in how you operate. Mediators can still get out there and mix it up, hunt indigents, whatever. And if a Harrier wants to take a break and settle an argument, that's their prerogative too. To be honest, even though it's sort of frowned upon, you can actually change your division whenever you like. So there's really no reason to stress about this. All right, you ready to choose?
No commentary necessary from me on this one. The game explained that pretty concisely. And yes, I think I'm ready.
Yeah, and? We're on pins and needles here.
The double confirmation too. Just to run it back through you though, for a quick refresh. Pathfinders plant data probes. Interceptors fight indigents. Harriers fight tyrants. Reclaimers find treasure. Curators collect collectibles. Prospectors farm uranium and other precious ore. Outfitters test equipment. And mediators deal with problems on the home front in NLA. Every single time I've played this game, I have picked Reclaimers. I love finding treasure and doing all that, but I think as time has gone on, I think I have settled into curatorial role. I just poke around everywhere, not just with treasure. So I'm going to pick the Curators.
Then it's settled?
It is settled.
All right. Thank God that's over. By the power invested in me, yada yada, you're officially a Blade.
I wasn't already?
Congrats, and welcome.
I know you're gonna do great.
It is what it is.
Whoa, whoa, whoa there, rookie. We're talking about a tyrant here. Do you even understand what that means?
We should probably explain. Tyrant is our term for any indigenous life form that falls outside of our usual threat ranking system. In other words, they're too powerful for us to even measure how dangerous they would be to take on.
And too powerful doesn't always just mean physically strong. If a creature has even a single especially nasty trait, it's classified as a tyrant.
As long as you understand the risks involved. Lynn?
Count me in. The same goes for everyone in New LA, but if we're gonna settle here on this planet, we're gonna have to get used to dealing with tyrants now and then. Besides, if I need to, I can always run away while it's busy chewing on one of you guys.
Fair enough. But don't push it, okay? Either of you.
What? You want me to do it? Now, there's nothing to it, trust me. It's easy. And besides, this is supposed to be your training mission, remember?
Which is exactly why we're here. You're going to have plenty of firsts as you become a Blade. You'd best get used to it. Pretty much everyone in New LA works for Blade, in one of several different fields.
Oh, for the lover. Fine. Once more from the top.